Algae. Algae and detritus worms everywhere. Everywhere.
What's up, guys? I'm Trent Wel-Don. Welcome back to my channel, Wel-Don Aquatics. As you can see, we're having a really rough time with that Petsmart tank right now. Let's get into talking more about what I mean and kind of give you my updated opinion on this tank. So stay tuned.
Alright guys, first thing is first, we have to definitely say that the zebra danios are healthy, they're alive, they're thriving, and I actually think they're enjoying the algae that has formed in this tank. If you'll notice on camera, I am down to 4 zebra danios. These guys are tricky, these little boogers. One of them jumped out of the tank. This gap right here, I can't even put my finger in here. It jumped out through here. Amazes me. And the second elephant in the room is this nice, big, large rock that was already covered in algae. It's not from Petsmart, so I kind of broke my own rules. But the reason I put a rock in here is when I did my water changes and I'd pour water back in, it would just kick all the sand over to the filter. So guys, I've had this tank running now for over a month with fish in it. It's had plenty of time to settle in. I've got to say I am extremely frustrated with this tank. I am going to say that keeping nano tanks can actually be more challenging than people realize. So here's what I mean. First off, I still have to say this tank is cool. It's a nice 5-gallon tank. It looks pretty. It's sleek. It can look well. But the thing is, this light, yes, it can grow plants, but it's also really strong. So I get a lot of algae. I also have a very nutrient-rich environment, which is causing, I'm getting a lot of detritus worms going around. I got a lot of algae going around, white fuzz going on. It's just kind of exploded in this frustration. I did add a near-night snail from Petsmart to this tank to kind of add some extra life, kind of tackle the tank a little bit, see if we could help with some algae. Needless to say, I didn't expect one snail to clean up the entire tank, but guys, I just did not expect this to just explode with problems like it has. So, like I said, I'm frustrated. So, I know in my original video, as we were setting this up, and we did the hot rod filtration, I was really excited that the intake was down below. Okay, I now hate that. Oh, hate is a strong word. I really, really, really don't like it right there. Here's why. It gives me limited space to build up my substrate that I have found out. And my dwarf Sagittaria that I have added in here, it grew. At first, it grew really well. Now, as you can see, though, it's covered in algae. It's dying off. And I realized that it's having a hard time fully rooting into the substrate and thriving in this. I really should have gone with something like an Anubias or a Java fern that prefers to be attached. I could have attached it to the fake piece of driftwood and been just fine. The other plant, I think it was like the Lewittigia. I can't remember what it was, to be honest with you. I put that thing in the tank, and like a week later, it was dying. It's just frustrating. It's really frustrating. So yeah, I don't make this video be like, ooh, boo, Petsmart tank, like this was the worst idea ever, because I still stand by this. Of this was a fun tank build. This was awesome to put together a 5-gallon tank on a $100 budget. And at first it looked fantastic. So let's talk some future plans and some future things I may change on this tank. Filtration is number one. I'm going to be experimenting on how I can better this filtration farther upon than what we have. I've really got to figure a system out to get better mechanical filtration in this, and also a way to keep the nutrients down in this tank so I don't just have explosions of algae. Now on the back there, where that, the internal sump, I don't mind the algae on that part. It's just all over the glass. The next thing I'm really considering changing is if I keep this setup, I'm going to get rid of the dwarf Sagittaria and add in a piece of Anubias to the fake driftwood piece. I think that'll give a different dynamic to the tank. It'll still keep plants in the tank. It's just going to be a much easier to grow plant, in my opinion, that's not going to require any substrate and not be determined upon that factor. Now, the drastic change that I'm considering is scrapping this whole thing. Poof. Moving the Danios to another tank, probably the Blackwater tank, which is to the left of me. Getting rid of everything, taking all of this out, all of the sand, all the plants, maybe keeping the driftwood in, no, the fake piece of driftwood, maybe put a piece of Nubius on there, go strictly bare bottom tank, and keeping a betta fish. I'm torn. I really am torn. I want to give this tank some, a decent amount of time to really stabilize even further. See if I can't, really dial in my feedings to these Danios. You can tell as I'm making this video, I'm struggling to say like, this is the best tank ever.
Because I'm saying this is the best tank ever, but it's also the most frustrating tank ever right now.
So guys, there you go. This is my poor, sad little 5-gallon tank from Petsmart. The good news is the fish are healthy. The fish really are healthy. No harm is coming to them at all. The bad news is the plants are dying, and just look at this mess. I scrubbed all of this off a week ago, and here it is, just back again.
So guys, we have some future changes coming to this Petsmart tank. I've got some decisions to make. If you want to be a part of this or have some suggestions for me, if you may have one of these tanks, let me know in the comments below. Give me some ideas of how you rig the filtration and what you think of this tank and maybe what I could do with it in the future. I really am open to suggestions on plants, stocking, substrate, scaping it. This is part of the hobby. This is part of the fish keeping hobby, is you get a tank up and running and you think it's going to be the best thing in the world, and it ends up being the most frustrating piece of tank that you have to work with. But it's also, these are the moments you learn the most. You start really learning your fish keeping style, how passionate are you? Are you willing to stick through these frustrating times to find the times of bliss when all of a sudden your tank is just absolutely immaculate? Like, oh my gosh, I succeeded in this. So, thanks for coming around, guys. I'm Trent Wel-Don, Wel-Don Aquatics. It is good to talk with you guys again, and we will see you next time.